Hello and welcome back, everyone. For our next session, we have Multicloud on AWS. Please welcome Ellie.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see all of you. I am Ellie Tamari, and I run the AWS Multicloud program. I am head of Multicloud go-to-market strategy. And today we are going to talk about voice of the customer, what we hear from our customers, and why our program exists. I will go into our approach and how we help multi-cloud customers. And finally, where to get help. So if you're operating in a multi-cloud environment and you need some help from AWS, how we can support you. So let's start. Many of our customers run in a multi-cloud environment. We know that historically we didn't ask customers how they're operating, was mostly focused on AWS, but in the last few years, it became apparent that a very large percentage of enterprise companies actually operate in a multi-cloud environment. And seeing that we're customer obsessed, we want to meet our customers where they are, understanding our customers' multi-cloud strategy and what they're planning for their cloud architecture long-term was very important for us to be more helpful to these customers. So some of the input that we got from customers was about understanding, and you can see that from Grab, our first quote, understanding that multi-cloud comes with complexity and cost that need to be balanced with the value of actually operating in that environment. So when we think about what is the ROI that we get from operating on multiple clouds, why are we operating on multiple clouds? What is the use case that led our customers to make that choice? That's what leads us in actually building the solutions that we offer. Now, if you look at other customers, for them, AWS supporting their multi-cloud architecture was critical to them deciding to do business with AWS. So that's really where we started. Thinking about why customers operate in a multi-cloud environment, there are many reasons. I listed a few here, but we can also think about customers that want to operate in a multi-cloud environment to be more resilient. That's obviously more nuanced because adding another cloud doesn't immediately make you more resilient. Sometimes to the contrary, because you've just increased your attack surface. But it's definitely a concern that comes up due to data sovereignty, areas where we might not have as many regions as customers would like, and they're looking at adding additional clouds, and the same vice versa, they might be on another cloud, have concerns about that cloud's reliability, and decide to talk to AWS. Other reasons we hear quite often are differentiated capabilities. Different clouds offer different services. You might be interested in AI from one cloud, compute and storage from another. Notice I didn't name any clouds. That happens. It happened in the past, and now we see things going the other direction, where companies that are on another cloud now come to AWS for pan-Amazon offerings that we can provide, our Connect services, storage classes, things like that. Other customers come and say, we want to be multi-cloud to avoid lock-in. Again, that's more nuanced, right? Because adding another cloud to your environment doesn't necessarily help you avoid lock-in. But architecting for portability does. So when a customer comes and says, we want to avoid lock-in, we can work with them on their container strategy, on using open source services. We can help them to avoid lock-in by architecting their workloads to be more portable. There's, of course, situations where executive relationships might decide which clouds companies are using, one or more. There's independent business units. Some business units want to use one cloud, others use another. Regulatory requirements, real, perceived, anticipated, those come up. So no matter what the use case is, AWS multi-cloud program can help our customers and you navigate a multi-cloud environment. If you're not familiar, we have a website for multi-cloud on AWS. I will share a QR code for this. You don't have to start Googling. But pretty much what we're stating and what is AWS' position been is that no matter where you, our customers, operate, we will support you. The multi-cloud guidance that we will provide will be cloud agnostic. We provide strategy, best practices, and it wouldn't necessarily be using AWS services if they don't make sense for your use case and for your long-term goals. When we look at supporting customers, it's not just about technology. Operating in a multi-cloud environment requires a lot of different changes when it comes to working with people, when it comes to looking at our processes, and of course, integrating technology. If we think about operating on one cloud and then adding another, considering the human aspect, right? Let me give you an analogy I love for this one. You can run an airline and use only one single airplane model. That makes your life so easy. All of your pilots know to pilot that airplane, and all your teams know how to operate that plane, and your booking system will always have the same seating chart. Inventory of parts are always for that one model. But if the FAA should decide to ground that airplane, you might have an issue. And when you go into a multi-cloud world, same with adding additional model airplanes or different manufacturers, and now it affects everything, right? You need to retrain your teams. Your people now need to know how to operate different models. You need to have inventory for different parts. Your booking systems are all different. You're going to build your processes in a different way. So let's take that airline analogy and now bring it to the cloud. Will your teams have specializations? Some know how to build on one cloud, others know how to build on AWS. How do we train them? Do we keep them separate, or do we try to make them a jack of all trades? So how do we build these training programs? Next thing, let's think about Cloud Center of Excellence. If we had Cloud Center of Excellence for a single cloud, how do we rebuild it to now incorporate multiple clouds? So that's where we come in and we help our customers think about how would we restructure the way that our people work on one cloud versus several. Same goes into our different processes, right? We can think about, now that we have multiple clouds, do we actually have a workload placement strategy? Do all of our teams know every application that they build, which cloud it should launch? In speaking with some of our customers, one of the things that I hear often is we want to put the right workload on the right cloud. What does right mean? Well, to every company, right might be a different explanation. So putting together a workload placement strategy is part of rethinking the processes that we've had before when we only worked on a singular cloud. Now let's add one more thing to this. When a company says we're multi-cloud, my question always is, are you on multiple clouds or are they connected? Because if you're operating on multiple clouds, great, your life might be easy. Some teams use one cloud, others use another. You're not really thinking about connecting them. But we go into a whole different territory when we're now thinking about connecting these environments. We need to think about networking, we need to think about security, we need to think, I'm sure you can come up with many, many more things that we need to consider as we're moving data back and forth between our clouds. What about AI? How do we get the models talking to each other? So all of these pillars are where AWS comes in and where we help you really to think about every different pillar and how it really belongs in your company and in what flavor you'd like us to help you with it. And AWS, as part of the multi-cloud program, offers this strategic consulting and best practices and hand-holding to our customers at no added cost. This is something that we're happy to provide, and as I said, it is cloud agnostic. AWS has been developing multi-cloud services from back in 2014. We started with Systems Manager. All of these services and different features make sense in different situations. Some of them allow you to expand AWS services onto other clouds. Others allow you to connect APIs and bring them all back to AWS if that's what you should choose. They also allow you to connect to other third-party partner services that are multi-cloud, bringing your data from AWS into them if that's what you're looking for. But that's definitely something that we intend to keep on doing and working with customers and getting the input from our customers through the different voice of customer programs and our multi-cloud customer advisory boards. That's what guides us in delivering more of these products and services to you going forward. Now, when I'm talking about best practices and supporting customers, this is just a small sampling of some of these best practices that we share with customers. Some of these may be straightforward, ones you've thought of, ones you already incorporate. Others you may have not thought of. If you're interested in getting more of these, more support, whether it's general multi-cloud strategy best practices or diving into multi-cloud security, operations, networking, data and analytics, we also go very deep on these topics. This is a lightning talk where I'm just giving you a quick overview, but there's definitely a lot more that our team can offer if that's something you're looking for. So what does the multi-cloud program include? Multi-cloud program has the executive briefing program. So if you're interested in getting your executives in front of AWS, we have EBC's executive briefings running at every one of our summits, including here and in reInvent if you're going to be there. So talk to your account manager in SA, and if your executives are interested in meeting the multi-cloud program leadership, we're happy to do that. We also provide technical guidance. If it's architecture, if it's evaluating different services you're considering, we can definitely help you with that as well and bring in the right specialists from the different services that AWS has or from our partner offering. And then, of course, enablement. Now, if you're interested in seeing that website you looked at before, this is the link that's going to take you right through that AWS program, multi-cloud on AWS. And that's it. Quick and dirty. If you'd like to hear more, feel free to come up. I'll be here for a bit. And like I said, multi-cloud program is ready to support you. If you weren't aware that it existed, glad to share that with you. And definitely talk to your teams. They can connect you with mine. Let's make magic. Thank you.